First off, let's get the sad things out of the way. Let's talk about funerals. And funerals, they are not fun. Nobody enjoys going to funerals, but they are a necessary part of the human experience, and it's a great way to show support for your friends and your family. Because we attend funerals for the living. It's not for the deceased, right? I had a friend one time who told me her daughter's best friend's grandmother had passed away. And the mom said, oh, we should probably go to the funeral. And she said, I didn't know the grandma. We don't need to go. I didn't know her. And her mom's like, no, you don't go for the grandmother. You go for your friend who has lost her grandmother. So attending funerals is a way to show our support for those who are left behind. Now, when you come to a funeral or a wake or some type of reception, you may encounter what's called a receiving line. And a receiving line is just where the family stands in a line, and it's an organized way for the family to greet a lot of people, so like all the visitors. Now, let's say it's the same scenario. Your best friend's grandmother has passed away. You don't know anybody else in her family. She's the only person you know. When you walk up to this line, you don't get to go straight to your friend, right? You've got to start with the first person in line. And this may be a stranger to you, and you may feel awkward not knowing what to say, because funerals are hard regardless whether you know the people or not. So especially when you come up to the first person and you might not know them. All you have to do is shake their hand, introduce yourself, say your first and last name, and it may be nice also to explain how you're connected to the family. So you can say, hey, my name's Sydney Dunn, I'm Sarah's friend from school. And you don't have to have a perfect Hallmark card phrase to say at this moment that solves the grief and makes everything better, right? That's not going to happen. Now, if you did know the grandmother and you have a quick memory you'd like to share, you can definitely do that. But if you can't come up with anything to say, it's okay to use this phrase, I'm sorry for your loss. Is it original and super unique? No, not really, but that doesn't matter. If you can deliver it sincerely and genuinely, that's what's important. Okay, so I'm sorry for your loss is always an acceptable phrase to say at a funeral. Okay, so after you greet this person, the first person in line, then you're going to go down to the next person. You repeat the same thing. Shake their hand, say your name. You can say the exact same phrase that you just said. That's okay. You keep going all the way down the line until you get to your friend, and then you can't just leave. You've got to finish out the line. Okay, so you greet every person in the receiving line. And you may visit your friend's home after a death in their family as well. And just be aware that this may not be a typical hang out, play video games, be really loud, eat all the snacks, like type thing. So just make sure that you are aware of the tone of the home, and that it's just always a good thing to follow your friend's lead and to go with the flow of the house and be respectful as you're visiting, because it may be a little different than normal. And last thing I want you to know about funerals is that the way you dress is another way to show respect. And we'll dive into dressing well later in another class. But dressing well at a funeral, if you're having a hard time coming up with something to say, or if you are unsure of yourself, or you're nervous, or maybe you're crying, you're upset as well and can't say anything, the way you dress and the way you show up is an act of respect in itself. So just be aware of that. The way you dress, that you took the time to show up to this funeral, says a lot for the family members and your friends who are left behind.
If this was helpful, you should check out my Virtual Cotillion online program. I cover a wide range of topics designed to increase your child's confidence in social situations. Lessons include carrying yourself with dignity, manners in public spaces, thank you notes, conversation skills, dress codes, and digital etiquette. To learn more, visit sdetiquette.com or click the link below.